Jesse Lee Peterson, born May 22, 1949, is an American activist, author, and media personality. He is president and founder of BOND, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, an American religious nonprofit, 501(c)(3) organization dedicated to rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Early life. Peterson was born in Midway, Alabama, and raised in Cumberhill, Alabama. His mother and father moved to Gary, Indiana, and East Chicago, Indiana, respectively, where they separately started new families of their own. Peterson remained in Cumberhill with his grandparents, who worked on the same plantation where his ancestors had been slaves a century earlier. Peterson lived with his mother and stepfather in Gary as a teenager and moved to Los Angeles as a young adult. Political involvement. Peterson has been involved with several television news interviews. He places his political opinion about events and problems regarding civil rights or the black community. Peterson is also the president and founder of BOND, Brotherhood of a New Destiny, a non-profit religious group based on the vision of racial equality and uniting the races, hence the quote uniting the races with truth, instead of dividing them with lies. Peterson is a member of Choose Black America, an organization of African Americans who oppose illegal immigration to the United States. He is a member of the advisory board of Project 21, a conservative African American organization. He serves on the National Advisory Board of Accuracy in Media, and is a former board member of the California Christian Coalition. Peterson also established an annual National Day of Repudiation of Jesse Jackson event, which lasted from 1999 to 2004, and which was held outside Jackson's offices in Los Angeles. Peterson is a friend of Sean Hannity's and is a frequent guest on his TV show. On January 17, 2006, Peterson was a party to the case Jesse Lee Peterson v. Jesse Jackson, BC 266505, in Los Angeles County Superior Court, after a ruling the previous week by Judge George H. Wu. Judicial Watch filed the civil lawsuit against Jackson, his son Jonathan, and others on behalf of Peterson, who was the alleged victim of a physical and verbal assault at an event hosted by Jackson's Rainbow/Push Coalition and Toyota Motor Sales, USA, Inc. in December 2001. On January 27, 2006, the jury found for the defendant on all of the counts except one, in which the jury deadlocked. The parties settled the remaining charge out of court. Political views. On September 21, 2005, Peterson penned a column for World Net Daily, in which he suggested the majority of the African American people stranded in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina were welfare pampered, lazy, and immoral. Peterson also criticized New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin for blaming President George W. Bush for his lack of response to the crisis, stating that responsibility to perform legally and practically fell first on the mayor of New Orleans. He has also claimed that African Americans are too dependent on affirmative action, calling it an entitlement. Peterson once called for the resignation of Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Steele, saying he was not conservative enough but that Republicans were afraid of firing a black man. Peterson thanked God and white people for slavery, adding that if it weren't for the slave trade, blacks might have never made it to the United States, and described traveling on slave ships as akin to being on a crowded airplane. He revealed in a tongue-in-cheek video, released on March 5, 2012, his belief that liberal women should not only lack the right to hold political office, but also cites the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution as a mistake, and expresses his view that most liberal women lack the ability to handle any form of political power. On religious matters, Peterson has criticized Islam, saying that Muslims hate us because we are a Christian nation and we support Israel. Some liberals have criticized Peterson for his comments. John Lewis controversy. Responding in WND to John Lewis' criticism of Donald Trump. Lewis is not a hero, and he's not an icon. He participated in the civil rights movement 50 years ago. Since that time, he has not done anything good for the country and especially for Black Americans. And even if he was a hero in his time, if he does or says something wrong, and he's in a position of authority, he should be chastised or corrected for what he's done. He's not above correction.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.